Hi guys, welcome to Twin Perspective. I'm Joe, and tonight I'm going to be presenting a spoiler-free series review of the new limited series on Netflix entitled Maniac, which stars Emma Stone and Jonah Hill and Sonoya Mizuno and Justin Theroux, with Gabriel Byrne and Sally Field. This show is my favorite show that I've seen since Twin Peaks season 3. So consequently, it's the first TV show that I'm doing a review for since Twin Peaks. I've seen a lot of shows that I've enjoyed, a lot of shows I'm anticipating this fall and all that, but this is the first one I've seen since Twin Peaks that's really sparked my imagination, had me thinking, not to mention it's just so well done. It's based on a Norwegian TV show, and this one for Netflix was created by Patrick Somerville. He is a writer and producer from The Leftovers, and Somerville developed this with Cary Fukunaga. Fukunaga was the director of the first season of True Detective, which I haven't seen, and I haven't seen The Leftovers yet either. But I've heard a lot of good things about both those series, and after seeing Maniac, I can't wait to see them, because this was brilliant television. Limited series, 10 episodes. Some of the episodes are 40 minutes long. There's a couple that are around 30 minutes. Really binge-worthy. It's one of those things where I don't think you can watch a few episodes and then walk away from it. It's definitely not a show that you can get up and go to the bathroom or get something to eat and just let the thing play. I mean, you'll be robbing yourself of a lot of good stuff, because that's the kind of show it is. It's kind of like for a thinking person, someone who doesn't mind all the little details. A lot of stuff throughout the series where you'll recall, I saw this one before, or this makes sense, and this reminds me of something, and there's a lot of that in it, and I think it's excellently done. Now, admittedly, I'm a huge fan of David Lynch, and sometimes Lynch gets really abstract, and I feel like Fukunaga is able to play with all those elements that excite me, and then actually deliver. It's a lot of it isn't completely necessary to understand what's going on, but ultimately in the end there's a lot of resolution for all of it, and that's something that Lynch leaves to be desired from time to time. So the show stars Emma Stone and Jonah Hill, and basic synopsis without spoiling it. They both volunteer for a pharmaceutical trial, so they're going to be subjects in this trial, and the drugs are to help ease your pain. It's supposed to eliminate all your pain, and it's for people who are seriously depressed or suffer from mental illness, ideally, which is exactly what Jonah Hill and Emma Stone are. I must warn you, the first 3 episodes is kind of like a grounding to get you to learn about the 2 main characters. The first episode focuses on Jonah Hill, the second one on Emma Stone, and after the third one, if you're not hooked on it just yet, I urge you to watch the 4th episode, because that's one of the better ones, and it really puts the series into the direction where it's going to go for the rest of the time. Now, I've seen a lot of critics complain that it's all over the place. And me as a film critic and lover, what I see is a director with the ability to handle different genres, different storytelling devices, and he mixes these genres, and I think it's exceptional. It's just so well done. Not to spoil anything, but there are different aspects of the story that require a different vision, and Fukunaga is able to deliver on all of those, and I think at an expert level. Even though some of the genres we go into aren't necessarily my favorite kind of genres, he's able to make the best of it. And ultimately, what the show's about is how we as humans need to connect with each other, especially if we're suffering through, pain and, personal loss or a lack of connection, feeling alone and invisible. And it's okay to want to connect with people and to feel like that gives you balance in a way. And so I think that's ultimately what the show is trying to purvey here. Is it's two people who meet at this trial, and they become connected in a way. And there's a question presented at one point where you're trying to figure out what's real and what isn't. And when you're watching it, you're not quite sure. When you're watching it, is this really reality? And that's the off-putting way that the director goes about things. I mean, you are immediately introduced into a world that's stylistically it's retro 80s, but it's not set in the 80s. It's set in a very modern time, much like where we are now in reality, with the technological advances and stuff. It's just that in this world, everything's kind of in your face and taken to another level. And all of these little extremities really do reflect how we are in our society now. There is a point in the series that does confirm that this is supposed to be set in today's world. It's just not what we're used to. This movie presents it in another way, very Terry Gilliam-ish, and a lot of people don't like that kind of stuff. They don't want to have to think about too much, and I can tell you that Fukunaga does such a good job that you don't feel like you have to think a lot to put the pieces together. A lot of the series is therapeutic for the main characters. What's off-putting about the first 3 episodes is that you meet these characters, and they're at their darkest and most depressing times of their lives. They've both chosen a uncertain or a dangerous path to resolve what's really bothering them, and neither one of them, I don't think, has the right answer to what ails them, and so that's why they're eager to do this drug trial. I'm going to do another video, a much longer one, recapping the series, mostly because I love it so much that I just want to talk about it all the time. Emma Stone and Jonah Hill are familiar to us, a lot of comedic roles from them, and I think it was awesome to have these two in this more dramatic setting. It's hard to describe the series. I want to say it's a black comedy, but it's not so much a comedy as a drama with a lot of comedic elements, and some of the comedic elements are downright slapstick, but it felt more absurdist to me, and I love that. I love that. So all of the absurdity throughout it just it was right up my alley. It made me feel good. It was at times really gross. There were certain action elements that were impressive. A lot of gore, a lot of profanity, very absurd, and a lot of times really dark. But ultimately, there's a heart to it that comes out, and it comes out throughout the series as they're trying to do this new form of therapy and conquer their own demons. And it's amazing. There are 19 different actors in this show that play multiple roles, including Sally Field, who does such a good job, Emma Stone and Jonah Hill, of course. And as the series progresses, you see a lot from both of them, and very worthy of attention. Justin Theroux and Sonoya Mizuno, their character, they only play one character. They remain the same characters throughout, and they both do excellent jobs as well. And the music is haunting. It's very appropriate. It's very neat. It's subtle. It's not very complicated, but very effective. The photography is amazing, and like I say, there's different genres in this show, and with each there's a different ratio to the frame size, and there's different color, there's different lighting, and it's all appropriate to whatever genre we're in at the moment, and just expertly done. A beautiful thing. I can't recommend this show enough. I've watched it twice now, and I plan on watching it again. It's a beautiful thing. It doesn't deserve a sequel. It doesn't deserve a second season. It is beautifully contained the way it is, with one of the best endings that I could have asked for from a show. I've heard some complain about the ending, and I think that maybe because I've watched it twice now that I get more out of it, and I'm very, very satisfied with it. So that's all I'm going to say about it. Very quick, spoiler-free, but I say if you like Twin Peaks, this is not going to disappoint at all. And if you're not into that kind of stuff, I think the performances and the direction, there's such an epic scale to it that it's worth seeing. You may not think it's the greatest thing in the world like I do, but it's still worth seeing. It is exceptional. It's an accomplishment. So that's all I got for you. I'm Joe. This has been Twin Perspective, my spoiler-free series review of Maniac. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Rosenfield 10 for more videos like this. And I will see you in the trees. Bye.